Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Spiritual Successor, a comedy video game design podcast where we take one of your horrible, nasty, cursed video game ideas and turn the idea and those ideas that are submitted. Sorry, I did mess up the plurality of my intro this time. You know what? It's been a weekend. It was a long weekend. I'm a day late on the show.
You 4th of July.
You know, I took a lot of sleeping naps because there was a holiday, and I wasn't feeling particularly patriotic, as this nation is a shit show. So I napped a lot.
I don't. Hi everybody. I'm Blake Rea.
Oh yeah, Blake. Yeah. This is Blake. Would you like to introduce yourself as one of the hosts for the podcast?
Yes, I am your other host, Blake Rea, and this is Spiritual Successor, a comedy video game design podcast where we take your lovely video game submissions and turn them into the next AAA video game titles. AJ, it was 4th of July weekend this past weekend. I did absolutely jack shit, and
That's the way it was meant to be celebrated.
I will be honest, this is going to sound a little bit heretical, but I slept through the fireworks because I was like, I didn't really care.
That's so powerful. How did you sleep through Whistling Pete? How did you sleep through Whistling Pete's probably the loudest one.
My little secret weapon, Grandma's lemon cake. I went to go see my grandma on 4th of July. I ate some of her delightful cake, probably more than I should have. Because you know how grandmas are. They're like, hey, I made this, so you
have to finish it.
Eat all of it.
It is a crime if you do not.
So
to not finish grandma's cake is a personal slight against grandma.
So after I get home and I look at my bed, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, you and me, we're gonna do it. And I wake up very briefly from the firework.
What do you mean by that? Can you explain to me what you mean when you said you looked at your bed and said, "Oh yeah, you and me, we're gonna do it"?
Yeah, I tossed my shoes off and I fucking passed out in my jeans. You and I have been over this.
Blake, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, what's up?
Why do you talk to your bed like you're gonna fuck it?
Because they're a naughty bitch and they deserve to be tied. I'm sorry. I mean, you have an inherent top-bottom relationship with your bed at all times, so I'm just saying lean into it. Just lean into it, you know what I mean?
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. And this was the day that I learned that sometimes you should, in fact, not ask every fucking question you think.
No. I feel like that's a good general rule. AJ, you're a very curious human being. Just know when you ask me shit, you're gonna get some weird answers sometimes.
So you slept through an entire fireworks show.
Yeah, I don't know what came over me, but I was just like, it could also, not to be bummer vibes, but I was like, I definitely am in that same boat that you kind of casually mentioned, where it's like, I'm not really, happy right now to be an American, because we kind of we're kind of greatest of
screwing the pooch on it right now.
Yeah, we're kind of that celebration mood. So I was just, that combined with grandma's cake, I was just like, I don't fucking care. I'm just gonna go to sleep, and I did. I woke up a nice sunshiny, well slept boy, and I went to work and had a good time. But you know what? I don't want to talk about my work day. I don't want to hear about your work day.
Because I didn't want to hear about your work day.
Good. Okay, cool. I'm happy we both mutually insulted each other. I want to talk about video games. That's what we do here. That's the work we do here, and it's good work. Also, side note, I know it was a holiday weekend, but I see some of you game designers slacking out there. We got one post on Twitter this week.
It was a holiday weekend. Leave them
Unacceptable.
Alone.
I need to be funny, and I can't be funny unless other people let me steal their jokes. No, we get it. It's just like, hey, just a reminder, if you ever want to have your game submitted, a post of yours read on the podcast, submit to us on Twitter, Instagram, fucking iTunes, doesn't matter. Send it somewhere. This first submission, I'm going to do the first submission, by the way.
You're just rolling into the show. I love the energy. Let's go for it.
This submission comes to us on Twitter from last week's submission. I mean, we didn't do did we do an episode? I don't know. This one comes to us on Twitter from Rita Astronaut. You are the driver's ed instructor for Thomas Jefferson and the other founding fathers. AJ, all of the founding fathers have been teleported to the present, and they need to be taught modern sensibilities, driving a car.
They have a lot that we need to talk to them about before we get to the car. But let's imagine that we've talked to them about all of the other issues and problems.
No. How about this? How about we take it that one step further, where it's like you do have to teaching them to drive is only one level or one section of this game. I think this would be fucking fantastic as a VR game. In the vein of like, what's it called? That day, it was like one of those first VR games that went super viral online. It was like
Super Hot.
No. It was like Work Simulator, I think it was.
Are you talking about the one where you're just in the little office space?
Yeah, well, there's budget cuts, but that one has like an actual movement system. I'm talking about a VR game where you're locked and each level has you standing in one location. Like,
you're sure it wasn't it wasn't Super Hot or Office budget cuts?
Super budget cuts. You can teleport around the environment. Like it allows you to move. That was like one of the first games to kind of do that. Super Hot is kind of. That one is like a little bit different because you get to.
Or are you just thinking of straight up Job Simulator?
Yes, I did say Job Simulator. And then
I don't listen to you when we podcast.
Fucked up, actually. So I'm thinking, can we do some sort of Job Simulator game, but we are the person that is rehabilitating these old founding fathers into the present. And the stank of it is I feel like each president should have their own way of going about these things, and it's a teaching game, but it's also like, hey, watch for red flags kind of game. So you have Andrew Jackson, and is Andrew Jackson the guy that liked to duel people?
Andrew Jackson's the one that wanted to fight people all the time because he was just a little vicious, spiteful little guy.
So guess what? Guess who has road rage really bad? Guess who has just an innate desire to run people over that he doesn't like? Thomas Jefferson. So as you're teaching them these things, looking back and forth between like making sure their hands are in the right places, making sure they're signaling, making sure all this stuff, and looking at your clipboard, you need to be also on the lookout to grab the wheel from them so they don't run people over. And so maybe that's how we position this game, is each level you're dealing with a different president doing a different activity. Because like I can feel like that's best matched to what they're doing. So like, what would you teach Hamilton? What would you teach Hamilton to do in the modern
Hamilton
era?
One of the founding fathers?
Yes. He signed the Declaration of Independence, didn't he? Yeah, I'm pretty... God, I did Hamilton.
Yeah, Alexander Hamilton. Fact number one about 10 facts the founding fathers of America. These 7 men are the principal founding fathers: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, Benjamin Franklin, Alexander Hamilton, John Jay, and James Madison.
Okay.
I, of course, knew this because I listened to Hamilton and I was a theater kid. That was a quiz for you, of course.
I mean, if I've learned anything about theater kids, the only information they have retained since theater kid is, one, all of the lyrics to Bohemian Rhapsody and can sing it at any point, at any get-together, and their desire to go to Denny's at any time past 11:30. Those are the only two things. But
those are the two most important things about being a theater kid, yeah.
So we figured out that's Andrew Jackson's thing.
So what's the first thing that I would do if I was being given the job of teaching John Jay about cars? First of all, I've got to tell him that horses aren't a big thing anymore, which I feel like that's going to be a big hurdle. I'm going to be like, okay, dude, so you remember horses? And he's going to be like, of course I remember horses. I'm like, all right. They're gone now. We don't have them anymore.
They're extinct. They're fucking extinct.
They're extinct, and you won't see them anymore. They're endangered. Odds are the only time you're ever going to see a horse from now until, like, the day you die again in now times, John Jay, is going to be, like, movies and cops that think they're cool at the state fair. And, like, that's it.
Wait, cops that think they're cool at the state fair?
Yeah,
what?
Horse cops at the state fair.
Oh,
you've seen those, right?
Oh, yeah. I actually saw a bunch of them around Anime Expo, and I just love the idea.
You saw horse cops at Anime Expo?
There's always horse cops at Anime Expo. Did you not know that? And I laugh about it every year because I just pray to God. I pray to God one day like at Anime Expo, there are people that just were like, hey, we're all in this same fandom. Let's all appear in one place with our cosplays from this one fandom. Like all the One Piece people get together. All the people who like to dress as Batman get together. All the people who dress as like Mando. I picture one day that I want to just see all of like that summer's hot anime characters, like just a bunch of like My Hero Academia people running from horse cops down the street, and just various qualities of cosplay that are falling apart because they're just most cosplays aren't like as well put together, or they can't deal with heavy strenuous activity, and I just want that visual in my life so bad. But yes,
the idea of a bunch of cosplayers with their costumes falling apart is very good. I will give you this.
Oh, yes, horse cop. Yeah, dude, LA loves using horse cops. The primary reason for that is traffic gets really heavy, so they gotta have things that can go on sidewalks like horses can. And then that's. I also saw what's even funnier is that did you know that the horse cops of Los Angeles County are assigned wooden katanas? Did you know this? They are
cops are so stupid. No, shut up. You cannot be telling me right now that the horse cops at Anime Expo have wooden katanas.
I am not lying to you. I wish I was.
I can't believe that I'm right now Googling horse cop weapon. This sucks.
Horse cop with a wooden katana. They have holsters on the side of the horses for them and everything. It is so
horse cop.
Fucking amazing. It's amazing. I guess they need something that's like long, so if they need to like hit somebody who's like lower than the horse, I guess they need the reach or some bullshit.
I'm not seeing their horse katana sheath, their horse scabbard.
I'll find an image of it and I will send it to you. I don't want to get hooked on this because I do want to go back to the game, but to circle this,
I'm very hooked on this actually already.
Okay, hold on. Here we have like what's another level we can do is that we need to teach some of the...
Anyway, right, I have to tell John Jay about horses. One, they're dead and they're gone. We're never going to see them again. Two, the vehicle that you are now controlling is as powerful as... Hold on, really quick. I'm just going to go ahead and Google how much horsepower is in a Honda Civic. Could you imagine looking John Jay in the eyes and being like, yeah, horses are gone, they're dead, you're never going to see them again unless you go to an anime convention, and that's a whole thing I'll tell you about later. But the thing that you're sitting in right now has the power of 180 horses. Could you imagine watching any of the Founding Fathers' brains explode when we tell them that?
I feel like I know you want to talk about that, but now I'm just picturing all of the Founding Fathers being brought to Anime Expo. Like, who do you think would be the biggest... What Founding Father do you think would be the
Alexander Hamilton
first...
would love it. People would be dressed up like him.
Yeah, do you think who would be the first Founding Father to wear a Hegout t-shirt? Who would be the first... Who would be the first Founding Father to get hooked on sushi and like try and learn Japanese while they eat sushi? You know the person I'm talking about. Everybody has one of those in their life.
Yeah. Wow, the Founding Fathers. You really would be at an anime convention if we brought you back to life.
I'll be real with you. I'd rather talk about them going to Anime Expo and all the kooky things they get up to other than like all of the real world problematic bullshit that the Founding Fathers are causing today. Oh my God.
Yeah. What would they be up to? George Washington, if we were to take you to an anime convention, where would I find you?
What? Oh God. Okay, so are we teaching them how to do a magical getaway at Anime Expo?
I think we're teaching them how to drive so that they can get to Anime Expo.
No, that's the first level, is you teaching Andrew Jackson how to drive, and now all of the other levels are like the various things at Anime Expo. So, okay, let's lay down some of the rules.
Okay, wait,
there
hold
has to be a
on.
line
Time
game.
out. I have an idea.
Okay, go ahead.
What if an Anime Expo is just one mission? Here's my proposal. We have rounded up all of the Founding Fathers, and we are going to go on a road trip, because the thing about the Founding Fathers is that they only hung out in a small part of America, and they've come back to our world, and we're like, hey guys, do you know how much America there is? And they're going to be like, I don't know, like a couple acres? And we're going to be like, no, my brother, there's so much land. There's
The
so
founding
much
fathers
land
had
here.
the concept of states. You know that, right?
Yeah, but they still thought it was super small, probably. When was the part where we bought the rest of America?
What's it called, the Virginia Compromise or something?
Yeah.
God, I'm a bad fucking American student. I don't know my history all that well. I don't know. Like I think it was during Andrew Jackson era, because I know that was when like a bunch of crazy shit happened. With us going west and stuff. So okay, but I like your method. So you want to do a road trip. So are we seeing all of the highlights of modern America? Like we start in New York or we start in Washington and then work our way towards the West Coast so they can see like the big reach of like everything that they've The game ending in Anime Expo is very fun to me. And just
Yes, the Anime Expo would be the last thing. Also, the term that we were looking for was the Louisiana Purchase.
Louisiana Purchase. What was I thinking? What did I say? The Virginia Compromise?
Yeah.
That's probably something sad and depressing, and I don't want to look it up right now.
Which happened in 1803.
Oh, okay. So good 200 years, 200 years, 219 years. They've been they haven't seen 219 years worth of content.
So much of America that they didn't know was going to be there, and now we can do a big tour de force with all of them to go see it. And so as we're on this long road trip, we are having to gauge their expectations and energies and joy and discontentness and hunger while educating them on what a car is, what a horse is. Here's what you're going to see when we get to Anime Expo. Of course, the pinnacle of the American culture.
This is like being a parent. Like this is what happens when you build so many games and so many media things about being a discontented adult person that is has a kid thrusted upon them. You then get all of the founding fathers becoming your children that you need to teach as if they were little people.
Okay, I had a hard time explaining to John Jay about horsepower in a vehicle. Blake, could you even imagine explaining to Benjamin Franklin what the internet is? Keep in mind, this was a guy that had a key and a kite and thought that he had cracked open everything.
Yeah, easy. I tell him, hey, you remember that black book you had of all the contacts of every woman you ever slept with? Well, hey, it's more instant now. And he'll be like, oh, I get it.
I forgot about the Benjamin Franklin sex cult. Thank you for reminding me.
You mean I can do my sex cult instantly now? And in remote locations? Sign me up. Yeah, dude, Benjamin Franklin was a little bit of a freaky freak. He also liked to bathe naked, so we got to teach him how to.
What? Hold on, wait. What's up? Wait, shut up. No, wait, hold on. I bathe naked. What do you mean that's weird?
Sorry. Okay, that does not make sense. So what Benjamin Franklin would do, he would take air baths. So he would just get naked and just let the air wash over him, and he would consider that bathing.
That's not bathing.
That's what he called it. I shit you not. That's what he called it, and it is bizarre as it is as bizarre as it sounds. So we gotta teach Benjamin Franklin how to take it.
That is literally the exact opposite of the first sentence you said, which was that he bathed naked.
Yeah, you expecting a curveball? Dude, what would you do if I told you that, hey, that I've never bathed naked? Like, I'm a never nude. Like, the jeans always stay on. They stay on for everything. Sleep, work, and shower, baby.
I don't think I've seen your butt, so I think I would have to trust you.
Yeah, no, dude, that's a trophy. Like, if you don't get to see my butt unless we've been friends for like 10 years. Normal friendships,
10
they get
years,
like
that's
varsity.
so long. I'm like barely I'm only a little bit halfway past that.
What are you talking about? I've known you for like 8 years, dude.
Have we been out of college that long?
Yes, you and I are fully functioning adults now. We're in our middle 20s with actual job and responsibilities. We're adults. Isn't that kind of wild?
We did graduate college like 4 years ago, didn't we?
Yeah. What the fuck have we been up to? COVID. Gaming, podcasting, just dumb shit.
Wow, the last couple of years just do not feel real sometimes, huh?
Oh, of course. Like, no, I think like COVID affected our perception of time in a very real, I'm not even being dramatic here. I do think like there was a level of stagnancy that we had
Yeah, no,
never
there
felt
are a
before
couple of months that
as a
I do
culture.
not remember anything happening in because it was just a vacuum.
Yeah, and I think that vacuum is what's created this really weird perception. It's almost fascinating to me because it's like everybody, I think, especially now where everybody really is very meticulous in cataloging their lives, either through like social media or planning for things or saving up for things. This was like a world where we had no obligations other than survival and just exist in your own self, and like that's something none of us have dealt with before. And it's fascinating to me to see like people's like mental reactions to that, where it's like I see some people who are like, wow, I got to finally sit alone with my thoughts for a while, and I got to learn so much about myself, and I found this peace that I never really discovered before. And then there's people like you and me where it's like, when can we see each other again?
Yeah, no, like I had a real bad spot during the pandemic where like I definitely had a moment where I realized I hadn't gone to bed sober in 2 weeks. Like, the pandemic sucked.
Yo, fucking party hard, man.
No. This was a bad time.
This was a bad time. Well, okay, I
Hey,
respect.
Blake, before we
descend into bummers,
rabbit hole, do you have another joke you would like to make about trying to show the founding fathers anything of the current day and age?
I want to play a dress-up game with Benjamin Franklin because he cannot be nude in public anymore, and you have to teach him how to properly dress. I think that you get to do a dress-up game as one of the games, and it's because
it will be very
Benjamin
fun removing
Franklin.
all of their dumb powder wigs and trying to find, and they'll be like, oh, I feel naked without it. And so you'll be like, okay, well, everyone's going to get their own hat. And so then you have to pick out what hat everybody wants and gets.
Because everybody's super bald, but there's one person where you take off their powdered wig and they just have the biggest like rock and roll mullet like ever.
Most of them probably did have phenomenal hair under those powdered wigs. They wore those as like a fashion thing.
No, they wore them as a health thing. Everybody shaved their heads during that period because lice was such a prominent thing. That you would
right,
because
they didn't have mayonnaise back then. Yo, they're gonna lose their mind when they find out that we can get rid of lice with mayonnaise. They're gonna lose their mind when they have mayonnaise for the first time because they're all white.
I don't like. So wait, hold on. You can't just drop that truth bomb on me. Is mayonnaise good for
white people
lice?
love mayonnaise.
Oh, I know. Dude, I love mayonnaise. I know that. I knew that from out the womb. I loved mayonnaise, but. Is mayonnaise an actual thing that you can fight lice with?
Yeah, if you just coat your hair with mayonnaise, it'll kill the lice.
Is it like the oils in it? That's fascinating. That's bizarre.
It takes a lot of mayonnaise, though, so, like, heads up.
Hey, okay, is it more cost effective than buying a thing of lice soap? If I have to spend more money on the mayonnaise and more effort, what is it really worth?
The story?
The
only
right.
thing anything is worth, Blake, is the story that comes out of it.
Yeah, but then you got to be that guy that's like, yeah, he rubbed mayonnaise on his head, and it didn't even get away. It didn't even get rid of the lice. He just rubbed mayonnaise on his head. You become that guy.
But might I raise you one up? You get to be the guy whose hair smells like mayonnaise, and everyone sees you and thinks, "I love Blake. He smells like a picnic."
That sounds amazing for like the first hour. I don't know if you've smelt mayonnaise when it's sat out for like an afternoon.
No, because if mayonnaise is sitting out, I'm eating it.
Give me a game submission, dude.
This comes from Caleb Martin Taylor's version on Twitter at Esithius. Who's ready for some football? A mystery game.
Ooh, is it a mystery murder game of who packed the football with nails? Is it
I love this idea of you going out on a camping trip, and you've come out to the camping trip, and maybe somebody at the camping trip did not realize what people were all into. And then during the first campfire of the camping trip, somebody's like, man, I'm so glad that we all have gotten here together with our one singular bonding experience. And that is that we fucking hate football.
Mm-hmm.
Then a football is mysteriously found in the campsite. Somebody brought a football.
Uh-huh.
Who did it? who here's the secret jock that loves football and showed up thinking that we were going to want to play football?
Oh, hold on. So you want to do like a hidden role game about a bunch of nerds trying to find out who the jock is so they can beat him up.
Exactly.
Ooh, beat up the jock. I love this.
This is the Revenge of the Nerds video game that we all expected
that
to come
isn't
out.
problematic and of its time.
Yeah, hey, don't go back and rewatch Revenge of the Nerds. Probably any of them.
You know what's so funny? I'm sorry to jump topics really quick, but this just reminded me of her. My Revenge of the Nerds, the series, is my grandma's favorite movie. Ever. And I just think that's so funny. And it's so funny coming out of like my sweet little grandma who like just loves baking and being there for her husband and just
your
and
grandma
loving
really
her grandkids.
strikes me as somebody that would see the shit that they get up to in Revenge
I'd be
of the
like,
Nerds
that's
and be
repulsed
like,
by it.
That's not okay. That's
Yeah,
bad. You shouldn't.
That's problematic. No, she fucking
Perhaps
loves it.
you
It's
shouldn't
the
replace
weirdest
all
thing.
of the booze that somebody is going to shotgun with horse semen.
I mean,
I'm almost certain that was a bit in one of the Revenge of the Nerd movies.
you know what's funny
If it
about
wasn't,
the
it
Revenge
was
of
in
the Nerd?
Jackass. And
I was gonna
honestly,
say
there's probably
that.
not that much of a difference between
I
the
was
two.
gonna say that it's like, if it didn't work as a Revenge of the Nerds bit, it sure as shit worked as a Jackass stunt.
Is it possible that our audience is actually good people and hasn't seen Revenge of the Nerds and doesn't know what it's about?
No, everybody has a problematic uncle. Everybody.
Everybody's shitty uncle showed them Revenge of the Nerds.
Or everybody might have a problematic grandma. Who knows? I don't want to be biased. Like, grandmas get up to some weird shit.
The
Looking at my grandma.
TLDR of Revenge of the Nerds is that there's a bunch, it's a college, and like there's all the normal like sporty frats, and then a bunch of nerds get together and make their own fraternity, and then they're super mean to everybody at the school and do downright illegal activities to everybody.
Yeah, but it's all justified because the end of the movie is a guy playing on an electric violin while all of the girls swoon. I think that's how it ends, or at least one of them. I don't know. I remember, the one image from Revenge of the Nerds that will stay with me till the day I die for some fucking reason.
Is it a jock falling because his shoes were tied up really hard? And then three guys go, push up their glasses, and then do the snappy clappy thing over and over and over again? That's an important thing. There's a visual in these movies where like the nerds, like their cool thing that they would do, an audience, you could do this together. Put one hand over the other hand, like right hand over your right hand. Snap with both fingers. And when you snap your left hand is going to be naturally kind of closed into a cup. Open up your right hand and just pat the top of the hand like you're topping the top of a cup. And just do that over and over again. Snap, tap the top. Snap, tap the top.
Wait,
all of the nerds in Revenge of the Nerds would snap and clap like that every time they bullied people.
I do that! Oh my god, is that where that's from?
Yeah, because you and I saw Revenge of the Nerds.
Oh my god, I never knew where I got there's a thing of like, oh my god, wait, hold on, I do this anytime I feel good about something. I've been conditioned. No, this is not a bit. I swear to God, this is not a bit where like I'm at work or something, or I'm working with you and like I make like a really good point, or I'm like, I bring up an idea that I'm really proud of, or like we just finished an edit and I'm like, yeah, and then I do that thing. I do the thing. And I've always unconsciously did that. Oh no, am I a Revenge of the Nerds fan? Oh no.
Worse, you're a Revenge of the Nerds character.
Oh no, this is how we found out I'm the intruder in this game. I'm the one, I fucking oh no.
Well,
wait,
we
no,
know that
I
you
would
did
be
bring the football now.
Okay, yes. So the accidental nerd who discovers they're a nerd. Okay, I like this. Is it kind of like a Jackbox style game where you are given questions?
A hidden role?
Yeah, like, oh no, this is good because some of the roles are also like people that aren't like visitors. So hold on, let me re-explain that. There are roles there is the jock, who is the hidden role of the game. You have the nerds, and then you have all of the other like side things, side characters of the camp, like the groundskeeper or the camp counselor, or the cafeteria clerk, or are they called cafeteria clerks? I don't know.
The lunch ladies?
Yeah, but there's like more than just lunch ladies. I think they're called cooks, maybe? I don't know. I haven't been in the
Yeah, they
cafeteria in
do
a long time.
cook.
Well, I'm just saying not every person who cooks is a cafeteria lady, and not every
And
cafeteria
not every person
lady
that
is
is a chef is a cook.
Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out. So it's you. There are some like red herrings, is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Is the cafeteria clerk is not always going to be like a nerd or geeky. So, but they're not necessarily a jock who's.
But they're
trying
not
to
a football
fit
fan.
in.
I can guarantee that.
Oh my God! This is jock that accidentally got sent to NASA camp and NASA summer camp, and instead of the jock camp, and that's the backdrop to this game. And so it's like a bunch of like, how do we do?
Maybe it is a murder mystery. Perhaps you play as one of the kids that has been sent to NASA camp. And then what's this? A horrible prank has been found, and the only evidence that was left behind was a football.
Oh,
now we know that the criminal played football.
Okay. So is this a multiple player game, or is this like a visual novel thing where you're trying to
No, I think this is a visual novel, single player. You have to put all the clues together and find out who the jock is.
And you need to get a date for the prom. You got to find the murderer, and then you got to do.
And of course, you do have to find a date for NASA prom at the end of the summer. Thank you for reminding me about NASA prom. I always forget about it.
Yeah, because the prom is going to be happening underneath the space shuttle. Doy.
But and of course, as we all know, NASA prom is out of this world.
Oh my God, out of this world 2K 2022. Wait, did they just say 2K 2022? Fuck.
Yeah,
right.
They say 2K 2022 at NASA camp.
I feel Okay, so is this kind of like a monster prom thing where there is a limited amount of time to find your date and solve the murder? You can do both, but most of the endings only work with one of.
If you don't find out who did the murder, well, it's not a murder; it's a prank. Let's first of all, nobody's dead. But if you don't find out who did the prank before NASA prom, you get pranked at NASA prom.
Oh, you get carried like a bunch, like some pig's blood gets dropped on you and shit.
Yeah, pig's blood gets dumped on you, and it's a really funny prank, and everybody thinks it's funny.
No, he gets liquid mercury dropped on him. He's not going to die immediately. I mean, you wouldn't die immediately from. You got to. I feel like mercury, if I remember correctly, it needs to go into a wound, or you need to ingest it for it to poison you. I think maybe. I don't know. I once had a science teacher pour a bunch in his hand and he rolled it around, and I don't hear from that guy anymore, so he could be dead for all I know.
Have you checked the obituaries in your home state in a while?
I haven't. My home state, bro. I've never left.
I don't want to dox what county you're in. I mean, you're in LA County, but like which specifically LA part you're in.
Oh, okay. I thought obituaries were like state-based, not county-based. It would make more sense for them to be county-based, huh?
Yeah.
Do people even do obituaries even anymore? Because
no, we have Facebook.
Yeah, because I feel like obituaries were a thing when only like 10 people died a day, and you would just like it would just be like a really easy thing to keep track of. But now it's like we live in cities of billions. So
there was exactly one workplace I worked at that had like a newsletter that would go out to all of the like every employee's like email box, and that had an obituary for my grandfather.
Oh.
But that's it. That's the only time I could think of an obituary happening.
Oh, because it's in your spam folder is what you're saying. All the obituaries moved there.
Hey, everybody, check your spam folder. You'll find a couple obituaries and tales about dead people.
Okay, so let's go back to our game here. And maybe, to mix in this obituary thing, it would be kind of cool is if every day at this summer camp or this NASA camp, it started with like a person dropping off a newspaper, which would have leads on who got pranked. And so these are the people you need to interview over the course of the day. So it's like, hey, this person got pranked. They're going to have a little bit more information for you on the murder.
Oh, yeah. But if you go to but hold on, scheduling conflict, you have a date scheduled for that time frame.
Yes. So you can still solve it without 100% of the clues. It's just that balance of, okay, is this clue worth passing up to get the ending that I want? Or can I not miss this clue because I want this specific ending? Like there are some routes where you need a date to go bad. You need to leave somebody, you need to ghost somebody, because guess what? If you showed up to that date, both of you were going to get pranked, and then you're now a victim.
Yeah, that would have been horrible.
And then guess what? They're not going to want to, that person, they're not going to want to go out on a date to NASA.
Because then they're going to think that you're the
space
pranker.
prom. What shitty name do you think NASA would give a prom? Like,
it's NASA prom. It's out of this world.
NASA? No, they would call it prom, but PROM would stand for something. Like Operation Prom, and it would be party.
Go on, dig through all of your space words and dig it out right now. You got it.
Orbit,
party,
asteroid, meteor, orbit, party.
You need an R word because you've got party, something, orbit, modular, or I don't have an M word for you. Mars.
Rotating, party, rotating, orbit, meteor. I wish that was funnier.
Party rotating on Mars.
There you go. Party rotations on Mars. There you go. That's not that bad. It's not perfect, but it's passable. It's better than what I said.
Can we still use the tagline every time they talk about prom?
Hey, this year's prom's going to be out of this world, and then one of those characters is going to be like, that's the tagline they use every year.
Yeah.
All right.
Blake, do you have another video game for me?
Okay, I do have a game submission. This one's going to go to some stanky places, and I'm interested to see what you and I do with it, because I don't think either of us have partaken in stuff like this. This one comes to us on Reddit from Chicken-Routine, a procedurally generated VR game that replicates an acid trip. The VR technology will be able to access the player's emotions and change the game accordingly, for good or evil. The player can run, but that doesn't mean they can escape. AJ, I want to bring back the horror Let's Play experience that took YouTube by storm. Horror games, they're not as big as they used to be, but remember like when Five Nights at Freddy's fucking came onto the scene, and everybody and their mother, and everybody and their mother. I mean, that game kind of sucked. Everybody, that game was awful.
Some would say that it ruined the horror Let's Player marketplace.
Really? I thought it was the oversaturation of Freddy. Oh, okay. Well, you're a real authority on the topic. It was Henri. I'm sorry. Wait, is Henri?
You're fine. That's the correct term for Henri.
Okay. For some reason, I thought Henri meant horny. For some reason, but no. Yeah, hey,
it's just when you're like being purposefully like obnoxious.
A shit bag.
I think you might be getting caught up on it because it sounds a little bit like horny. Maybe ornery would be better for you.
Okay, all right. So yes. But I want to get back to the game. So I want to try and take this. Imagine a game where the horror experience or the Let's Play itself is solely unique to that Let's Play. So imagine Markiplier goes through this game, and its response to all of the crazy shit going on in his head, it's going to be completely different than when Girlfriend Reviews goes through it.
Yes.
So can we do a video game centered around a bad trip?
Well, Blake, let's start off here. What do you think that being acid is being... Let's start here. What do you think that being on acid is like?
From what I have been told, because I do know some people that have entertained these substances, they say it really affects their perception of color in a major way, where things seem a little bit more lush and they seem like they're constantly moving. So that immediately freaks me the fuck out, because I can't imagine being in a maze, but all of the walls around you are wriggling and just pulsating and just
don't like that. That makes me think of a flesh tunnel.
I don't. It sounds like a really bad metal album. Hey everybody, we're Abominable Sin, and this is our album.
What's up, motherfuckers? We're Flesh Tunnel. It does kind of sound like a bad metal band, doesn't it?
They have really good merch, though. So is there?
I've never been on acid, and I've never hung out with people that do acid because it is an illegal drug, and you won't catch me saying that I know anybody that has done it.
I mean,
I have to imagine that it feels like watching Roger's Rabbit, but at 2 a.m. while falling asleep.
Roger's Rabbit.
That's not the name of it.
No,
What's the name of the movie with Roger Rabbit in it?
Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I feel like taking acid would feel like watching Who Framed Roger Rabbit at 2 a.m. when you've woken up with a flu. You know what I mean? When you're like at that point when you can't really tell like reality from fiction, but you know that you laying in your bed is real, and you can't quite tell whether or not Roger is real or if... Who the fuck plays opposite Roger Rabbit?
I don't know, but he was in Home Alone.
Who plays opposite Roger Rabbit?
It's just so...
Who Framed
Roger
Rabbit?
It's so funny to me that you... Here, I'll let you complete your thought, and then I just want to explain.
I do think it's messed up that they don't use Roger the Rabbit's full name on his movie.
It's Roger
the Rabbit.
Okay.
Bob Hoskins plays opposite Roger the Rabbit.
I don't remember the name, but the reason I'm laughing so hard is that you're saying that you went from LSD to Roger Rabbit. It just made me think of the song White Rabbit.
Wait, nobody's talked about LSD. We're talking about acid. Are they this? Wait, hold on.
Yes,
wait,
AJ, they're the same thing. Yes.
Okay, then what is Molly? And is that a different one?
I don't know. I think Molly is like its own can of worms, dude. I don't know. I just picturing the one pill makes you larger and one pill makes you small. That whole song from like Sucker Punch, and it's just an AMV of Roger
would make
Rabbit.
Me incapable of telling Danny DeVito and Bob Hoskins apart. How can we make that a video game?
You dropped LSD and you need to tell faces apart because LSD fucks faces up, dude. It'll make them melt and get crazy. So this is like a game of...
You sound really confident about that, Blake.
Are you trying to catch me? Are you trying to like put me on the spot and
I am trying to catch you slipping. I am a cop. You caught me.
I should have known. You did bring up horse cops earlier this episode. I should have known. You're an imposter. Cops can't be gamers. I've said it. I've decided.
It's true. Name one gamer cop.
I legit can't. I don't think Ted Cruz plays Tetris. I think if he plays any video game, it's got to be like really problematic ones, like Warcraft or
Minecraft.
No, Minecraft's not problematic. That's a beautiful game. It's a lovely game. The community's garbage.
How do we make a video game about acid?
I feel like we had a good discussion on it. I'm happy about it. I think it's fun. But you and I should decide on nugs, and then we should figure out where to go with those. Let's figure out what are the two games we made. We made our presidents, teaching them how to integrate into modern society, and wacky hijinks ensue. Naked Benjamin Franklin.
We made a game where we play as a NASA camper trying to find out who did the football prank.
And then we did our acid game. So I feel like our president game is, because we've done kind of some dating sim style games, and that's fun.
We have, and I'm much more interested in the idea of trying to manage 7 different, or however many signatures were on the Declaration of Independence, juggling the energy of that many men in one tiny vehicle.
Yes.
I'm sorry to any lady founding crewmates that helped found this nation. Unfortunately, they were women, and we don't celebrate women that existed before 1800. I wish that you ever have a moment where you reach for a joke and realize that because you don't have any like representation of that like on your podcast, you really worry sometimes that you reach for that joke and people are like, yes, like... AJ thinks that. And I don't have a woman I can point to right now to prove that I'm not horribly sexist. I went for that joke, but like now look at me. Audience, you have to believe me, I'm not sexist. Please, that was a joke.
I mean, it would. I can't. I'm not one to talk because you know what my response was before you continued. I was gonna be like, I don't know, Hamilton's wife, and that's just as bad. That's it's not as not even saying her name.
You're
it's
like, no, hold on, they have
like
some
no.
of
Let
those
me
guys
let
had
me
wives.
let me describe her by her affiliation to a man and not her as her own ass person. So, dude, I don't think you and I need to play this game. We both fucked up.
Anyway, this
Betsy
is just
Ross,
a game
she
for
made the
boys.
flag. I know somebody. Betsy Ross. There we go.
So this is a game about the boys for the boys by the boys.
We just call it The Boys.
It's Amazon's The Boys. You know what?
But
We can use the same cast as The Boys.
Let's just call it Amazon's The Boys. Because Amazon's starting to has their own game streaming service now, right?
Do they?
I feel like that was something they announced. I think they just launched their own gaming system. Hold on, let me confirm this so I don't Amazon Gaming. Sign up for Prime Gaming. Yeah, it's a thing. Every month get exclusive in-game loot, free games, and free subscription on twitch.tv. Yeah, it's a fucking thing.
So this will be
what?
Amazon's The Boys, unaffiliated with Amazon's The Boys.
Yes.
You know what it is.
Yes,
I know how
yes.
we can dodge this legally. I know how we can make sure that nobody's going to get this mixed up.
What are you talking about? If this is launching on Amazon Prime gaming service, they already approved it. They can't recede approval for a game that they paid to be made.
You're right. It's, again, just like I want to make sure that the audience doesn't get confused. I don't want to have an Xbox Series X, Xbox S, and Xbox X situation.
No, that's
hands.
on
We're
brand.
better than that.
No.
Hear me out. I know how to fix it.
Okay.
This video game is The Boys in all lowercase.
Even like the is undercase.
The is all
Lowercase.
lowercase. And that way I don't think anybody will get it mixed up.
We could also just call it Amazon's The Boys, but the S is a Z. It's just slightly different.
Yeah.
Amazon.
You know what? We better just compound all of these to make sure that there's no confusion whatsoever. Amazon. Also, Amazon's show The Boys doesn't use Amazon anywhere in their branding, and so that makes us a little bit different as well.
Oh, I love this. I love this so much. Okay, so we kind of figured out, like, how does this game
What is the
end?
game? I wanted to think about what the game looks like, and I was really into the idea of, like, it's an art style that's gotten really common these days, but I think it's an art style that works for what I want to do, is that cartoony Fortnite style body shape. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Where like their proportions are slightly like a little bit more cartoony, but it's still like not photoreal, but it's realistic.
Yeah, they're cartoony shaped, but with realistic fake kind of real. They're like cartoony. They look like Fortnite. I can say it looks like Fortnite, and everyone knows exactly what I mean because there have been a lot of battle royales that have come out that look like Fortnite.
Just say realistic looking Play-Doh. Like that's what I think of any time.
Play-Doh is a great way to describe it.
They look like clay, but they're realistically cartoony.
But the way that this game works is that you are in the passenger seat of this thing, and you are able to look around the vehicle at all times. So you can look back through the vehicle, and you can see all of the other founding fathers. Are we on a bus, perhaps? Is there a way for us to hop up and move to the back of the bus so that we can see...
an RV home base.
People all the time. Andrew Jackson. We can go into the back to make sure that Andrew Jackson's not picking any fights in the back.
Hold on. You're onto something here. So, like, if we have our home base is kind of an RV that we can walk around and interact with things in. I love that visually because you can see the state of the RV just decay over the course of the trip. Where it's like, well, guess what? Just fucking Hamilton's. He's leaving his bridges everywhere.
You can also upgrade cosmetically your RV and find upgrades throughout the world to, like, you know, make sure the fridge keeps all of the drinks cold.
You just make it a little bit. It just looks more patriotic. It's just like, yeah, I'd love to see what kind of shit Andrew Jackson would find on the Bible Belt and like.
Yeah, I'm gonna give George Washington a Dr. Pepper and watch his face just really pucker up.
Wait, why would he pucker up at Dr. Pepper? It's not sour.
Yeah, but it's bubbly and weird. He's not gonna know what to do.
No, was it Andrew Jackson that really liked, or I remember one of them being really into ice cream. It might have been Benjamin Franklin because he spent a lot of time in France. I just picture one. Oh my God, that's another game. Is you basically like, what's a big thing that happens in the Midwest? Eating competitions or some sort of cooking competition.
Yes, you can get them down to the Midwest to do some eating competitions.
Yes. I'm gonna just say, give me another, because I go through I don't
have the Founding Father page pulled up anymore. John Hancock.
John Hancock. Oh, there you go. John Hancock. He's really good with his hands, really good at crushing them dogs and eating them up. Good for him.
Holy shit, Blake, is this just the mission system from Assassin's Creed?
What? What do you mean?
How familiar are you with playing like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood?
That's kind of where I dropped out, so I don't know. I don't remember too much about it.
Assassin's Creed Brotherhood had this whole system where like you had like a deck of characters that were like trying to join your Assassin's Creed thing, and each one had a whole list of stats. And so you could go into a menu and you could see all these missions that needed to be done, and you could send each one of your little guys on a little mission, and they'd bring back money and rewards and stuff, and then the little guys would level up. Is there a way that what we can be doing is treat these Founding Fathers as if we have a big old group of 17 Tamagotchis? Where they each have their own independent stats. Every time we camp somewhere, we can decide how each one of them is going to spend their time. Benjamin Franklin, you need to sit down and read Homestuck. I know you're a big writer or something. Who was the writer? Was that Thomas Jefferson?
I know Hamilton loved
Alexander Hamilton was a writer. Yeah. Hey, Alexander Hamilton, you need to read Homestuck. Trust.
Yeah. So they get Persona-style stats where it's just like,
yes,
hey,
they have a bunch of
stats.
Up. This way, every time we end up in a state, let's say that we're in the Midwest and there's a food competition, then we can look through all of our stats and say, okay, who do we think is going to kill it in a food competition? Because if they're able to do one of these little pop-up events, they're going to gain so much U.S. knowledge. And the U.S. knowledge is what stat needs to be increased by the time they get to Anime Expo so that they don't make a big ass of themselves.
You know what would be really nifty is like, what if this game operates, it's not like a menu-based game, but like there's a top menu that's like Oregon Trail style, where you can see where the major locations are going to be, where you like stop and restock and things like that. But between those major points, there are a bunch of decisions to be made that are like text-based, where it's like, hey, you stopped at a gas station. What does everybody do at this gas station? You don't go into like the 3D animated stuff. You just kind of can do menu-based decisions.
Yeah, it's like, and hey, you need gas. Who do you want to send in to buy the gas? And who do you want to pump the gas?
And this is what you sent in Andrew Jackson. Guess what? He fucking shot a guy. Now you're on the run. I love that. So, but when you reach major locations, you go into that 3D, you can walk around the environment.
You can walk around your little campsite where you've parked the RV and see every single one of the Founding Fathers and talk to them.
Yes. Oh, and the VR thing is like, that top menu I was telling you about, it's just you opening up a map of the United States roadways. And just like you can like wherever you look or wherever you point your finger is like it goes into those little sub menus that I was talking about. And then you can see everybody's stats. And this is where I want to bring in our modifier. So we're a little bit behind on our modifiers. Things are kind of crazy, but I think this is perfect. Our current modifier right now is fashion and outfits. So this is our modifiers are going to be, what are they collecting along the way to Anime Expo, and then they wear this outfit for their cosplay at Anime Expo, or it contributes to the materials that they use to make their cosplay. So, like, for example, like one of them is saying, Rad Nauseum, Slow Jams Forever says buff links. They're cuff links, but buff. So I feel like that's very on point for a founding father to have cufflinks, but they're like fucking yoked and massive, and they look like giant handcuffs with chains on them. And I love the look of that.
How do you? I love this idea that you're trying to help them build their little costume for Anime Expo. How do you know when they've decided what to do? So, for example, Total Lover 2244 has proposed the idea of a fun outfit of a really cool wig.
Uh-huh.
How would I know when one of my founding fathers has decided that they want to wear a really cool wig so that I can help them prepare for their really cool wig outfit? Because my biggest concern, honestly, is I noticed that a really cool wig has big quotation marks around it. And I'm just going to be honest. I'm worried that he's just going to wear the powder wig at the anime convention.
It could. That is one route. I think this is a game that has multiple endings. So very much like Oregon Trail, you can make it the whole trail and all of your people survive, or you only survive with one person. And there's just like a bunch of things that can dictate those various things. But this we're going to be like that, but a lot more complicated. Where the final score is how successful and how much fun and how much did they learn at Anime Expo. That like how I guess it could influence maybe the big picture is they're going to take whatever they've learned by seeing this view of America and the depravity that is Anime Expo, and that's going to affect how they come back into politics or something like that. Like what happens, there you go, there's our credits. It defines 1980s style, like any good road trip movie. It gives you a short like 3-sentence thing of what they went on to do after Anime Expo 2K 2023.
Yes. And we'll just have those procedurally generated based on the stats that they had by the end of the game.
Yes, exactly. Of like how good of a time they had. And like this would be such a fun game if it's like over and done with in like 2 hours. Where it's just like, it's like Monster Prom. You could just play it with some friends and you can jam it up, or you can like one person has the VR headset on while the other person's watching the stream on TV and they're making decisions together. I just think that'd be super fun. That'd be so much fun.
I agree. I think that's a game, dude.
That is a game. Thank you very much for our modifiers this week. If you're interested in jumping in on it, check us out on Patreon. Where you get a bunch of other little benefits. But I'm ready to go to patch notes. How about you, AJ?
Let's go to patch notes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Patch Notes. We're going to go ahead and keep Patch Notes really short and simple this week. It's the same information that we have as last week. In the description for this episode, you will see a link that you can use to donate to abortion funds that will help out abortion clinics throughout the U.S. Again, Roe v. Wade was overturned here in the United States of America, and we are still finding out what that really means. And the best thing that we can really do is be proactive while we are figuring that out.
Yes. So check out those links. If you can support and be of help, please do. If you can't, or you just financially can't handle it right now, totally understandable. I just do recommend stay informed. Like, this is a really big thing. And stay safe if you're one of the people affected by this. And with that, we thank you very much for hanging out with us this week. We will see you next week for more laughs, more fun, and more horrible video games.
As always, the intro and outro music of our show is Cheap Shot by Anamanaguchi, an excellent song from an excellent band for an excellent game. I've been one of your hosts, AJ Hart.
And I have been your other host, Blake Rhea.
This has been Spiritual Successor, and these are cool games
that should not be made.